Mic's off. Check, check. There we go. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate the work these guys do so much because they take the discussion out of just the financial and the investment realm and make a case for why Bitcoin is so important for everybody. And I think that's one of the, the biggest things we can do in this space. And when we're having these conversations with people we know, is tell them why Bitcoin is not just for a savvy investor or not just someone who manages a portfolio, but for everybody who prioritizes and values freedom and honesty and truth and fairness. So once we've had that discussion with the people that we love, the next question is, how do we onboard them? How do we get Bitcoin in their hands? And so this next panel is discussing that, how we onboard 1 billion Bitcoiners. So the first guest is Ivan Soto-Wright, co-founder and CEO of MoonPay. We also have Youssef, CEO and co-founder of Paxful. Bobby Lee, founder and CEO of Ballet and the author of The Promise of Bitcoin. Yan Pritzker, co-founder and CTO of Swan Bitcoin and the author of the amazing book, Inventing Bitcoin. And Flip Abagnale from Bitcoin Magazine.
Oh, what's up, guys? Let's take a quick second, think about this. How do we onboard 1 billion Bitcoiners? That's such a fantastic question. Each of you guys have very unique products and very unique ways to onboard 1 billion Bitcoiners, and hopefully we get to talk about those. But first, let's do a quick introduction. We'll just start here and introduce you and, of course, your company, and maybe a little bit about what makes you guys unique.
Yeah, so my name is Yan Pritzker. I'm from Swan, right here on the hat. Thank you. We have a lot of fans here, and I really appreciate you guys coming out to the Swan Dome. Thank you very much. We are a Bitcoin-only on-ramp. We help people buy their Bitcoin and set up dollar-cost averaging plans to create a savings plan, build their stash of freedom cash, as we like to say. And we also offer a lot of Bitcoin education. We have a live show called Swan Signal Live that happens every week. It turns into a podcast. And we also offer a white glove service for corporations, high net worth individuals, people who have IRAs, trusts, things like that, to set up entity accounts with us and stack for their future, for their company, for their children, that kind of thing. And I think what makes us unique is that we do focus on Bitcoin only, and we focus on education very, very strongly. We're really all about teaching people to level up their Bitcoin knowledge, from buying the Bitcoin first to getting their first wallet set up to maybe even running a full node. So that's our spiel.
Great. Bobby?
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning. Almost afternoon. My name is Bobby Lee. I'm the founder and CEO of Ballet. So we make physical Bitcoin wallets. And to get to 1 billion users, what I found is that the 1 billion users that are coming on board are all new, and they're not crypto savvy. Managing private keys, backing up seed phrases are too difficult for them. So we've turned Bitcoin into a physical bearer asset. Makes it really easy. That's our solution. I really created this company to get Bitcoin to 1 billion users and more. I think our ultimate eventual market share will be like 5 billion, 6 billion users on cryptocurrency. So that's what I plan to talk about. And I'm also the author of the new book, Promise of Bitcoin. I'm giving these out for free at our booth at Ballet, and I'll sign it for you if you come by afterwards.
Great. Ray?
Hello, everyone. My name is Youssef. I'm a first-generation immigrant from Egypt. My parents came to America for the promise of a better life. And how we're going to onboard billions, yes, with an S, of Bitcoiners is by focusing on our roots and understanding why we all came here. The original mission of Bitcoin was to help the little guy, those invisible people that are under the yoke of financial apartheid, like back in my home continent, right? We're here because we are willing to do what others are not, and we are willing to go where others are not willing to go. Paxful is known as specializing in retail in emerging markets like Africa, India, Southeast Asia. 6 years ago, we believed that Africa would lead global global Bitcoin adoption. At the time we announced that, everyone laughed in our face. They said that Africans couldn't figure it out. They only made $2 a day, etc. Now, Africa is leading global Bitcoin adoption.
All right, great. Ivan, tell us a little bit about
Hey
you
everybody,
guys.
great to be here in Miami. I'm Ivan, I'm the co-founder and CEO of MoonPay. Our mission is to bring 1 billion people into Bitcoin by 2030. We think the way to get there is we have to connect to the legacy financial system. And so our mission is to connect every single payment method across every single geography into Bitcoin. It's been a wild ride. Excited to be here and talk about how we're going to bring more people in the space.
Great. Obviously, yeah, please clap. Past couple months have been good, right? There's been a lot of new people coming into the space. We're very excited. What are the narratives that your customers specifically are coming for? What are they excited about Bitcoin? What took them maybe a little bit of time to get in, and this is their first time getting in, right? And I'll leave it there. It's a lot of answers we could end. Let's start over here.
So I think a lot of people, when they come to Bitcoin, usually have a couple different touch points. I know it's true for me. I came in first in 2011 from the tech side. I heard about an interesting new distributed payment system, and it was like, okay, I'll check that out. It sounds interesting, but I didn't really understand what it was. And it wasn't really until 2016 for me personally that I started understanding Bitcoin as more of a money and more of a monetary phenomenon that could actually be a freeing force for the rest of the world. And so I'm very, very thankful for Ray to be here to talk about that a little bit more. I'm not going to touch on that too much. We serve mostly an American population, but I myself am from the former Soviet Union. And so one story I like to tell, and when I talk to our customers as well, is I came from a regime where when we left the country, we couldn't take our money with us. We only had the ability to exchange $100 per person. So my family of 4 left with $400 in our pockets. And so this is the world that we live in today, and a lot of Americans don't really get it, but they're starting to understand as we are entering into this kind of new macro environment where money is being printed left and right. The monetary system is being debased, and you have kind of more government control coming in. People are starting to understand that this could potentially happen here. And so what we're seeing from a lot of our customers is the wake-up call of the COVID crash and the economy coming to a grind and the government stepping in and being really kind of top-down and heavy-handed, that these things could happen here. They are happening here. And that everybody should be building their own stash of money, of freedom cash that is good to go. It's portable across borders. It's yours and yours alone. It's your responsibility. The government can't interfere with it. And we're seeing that from both the individual side as well as businesses who think about it like, this is something we've built through generations. We have family-owned businesses that are coming to us and saying, we've built this business, and now we feel like our money that we've saved up for this business is being debased, and we don't know what to do. And they're seeing that Bitcoin is a way out, and they're really coming to us for that education and to sort of get deeper on that and to understand that this is a way to save your money, really probably the only way to save not only your money, but money in general, because money in general is in trouble, and I think that's what we're seeing today.
Definitely. Ivan, I'm curious, what are the narratives that are driving your customers to sign up and come on your platform?
Bitcoin is obviously special in being this internet-native digital currency. For me, it's just the fact that it's massively democratizing. Anyone with an internet connection now has access to financial services, can spin up a Bitcoin wallet. And I think the narrative on my side is getting more people into sound money. And if you think about it, if you're trying to solve that problem to get into everyone's hands, we have about 60% of the world population that has access to the internet today. So we're still doing a lot of work to keep making internet penetrate the world. But for digital currency and getting the people that already have an internet connection to find out about Bitcoin, I think it's about how do we connect them to where are the distribution points. And so for us, it's, you look at Visa and MasterCard, you look at the penetration rate of Visa, MasterCard and the existing payment rails, and it became really clear to me that was a place that we needed to start. So that's where we started, but really where we want to go is it's going to be more and more important in different parts of the world. There'll be different payment methods that we need to connect to. We work with people like Ray at Paxful that's doing a great job in different parts of the emerging markets of the world, enabling people to go peer-to-peer into Bitcoin. But then it's also thinking about these other distribution points like what Bobby's doing, which is actually for people that don't even have access to the internet, you can distribute it actually physically. So I think the narrative from my side is, this is sound money. I think that's what really attracted me to Bitcoin. Super exciting. It's a fully decentralized system that essentially has huge promise for people that have currency systems that don't work. And so really from our perspective is how do we get it into the hands of more people? And the only way to do that is building this backwards compatibility.
Bobby, talk about the physical card a little bit.
Yeah, so with Bitcoin, the biggest difference between Bitcoin and traditional finance is about control. With Bitcoin, people can finally have control of their own assets and not have to rely on a third-party bank custody. And sadly, for the last 12 years, still the vast majority of Bitcoiners, of cryptocurrency holders, still put their assets on custodial exchanges. They still put their assets on custodial services. And with Ballet, our solution is to give control back to the customers, back to the users. So this is my second startup. My first startup was exactly that, about exchanges, custodial service, and I realized the light bulb went off. I was doing it the wrong way. So fortunately, I sold my company, and now I can start over fresh. And I want to give control back to our users, let our users have the private keys. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. So by having your private keys, you will always have control of your assets, and no one can take that away from you. And just like my last company got acquired, when there's a change in management, you don't know what's going to happen to that company afterwards. We've seen that happen with my last company. I won't go into details. But the point is that wherever you put your assets on a Bitcoin exchange, on a cryptocurrency platform, you just don't know what's going to happen, whether it's going to get hacked, whether it's going to change of control. So you really want to have control of your private keys. That's why when I designed this wallet, I designed that one day I might sell my company or my company might go bankrupt. No problem, because our users will always have full control, full exclusive control of their private keys. So I had that in mind from the very beginning. And it's a responsible thing to do.
Not your keys, not your coin, right? And I think that's been obviously one of the most important narratives in Bitcoin for a long time. Ray, you were squarely in the middle of the largest potential adoption to get to $1 billion. Yeah. What are the narratives that are driving Africa right now?
So I can share with you my experience on the ground in Africa, and I think that's valuable here because it's a perspective we don't often get. So in 2019, me and my team went to Africa, and we did the Paxful campus tour, and it was amazing. I learned so much, but I had some surprises too. So when I started, sitting in front of an audience of 800 students in South Africa and Kenya, and I would talk about Bitcoin as this amazing store of value and technology, and you should invest in Bitcoin, can you guess the response? They were looking at me wide-eyed like this, with this tepid glance and stare, and I was like, what's going on here? Long story short, the majority of every one of those audiences had either been scammed or knew someone that had been scammed in something involved in cryptocurrency, whether it was a OneCoin, a token, a crypto mining scam, and that is the reality in Africa. Africans are not scammers. They are preyed upon by scammers to an extent that we cannot imagine. So I took the feedback. I was a little taken aback. But the good thing is that our narrative was actually different. I wasn't there to tell them to invest in Bitcoin as a store of value, which is nice. They can choose to do that. I was there talking to them about how Bitcoin could be used as a means of exchange, as a way they could do payments outside of the country, or even to the country next door, which is extremely difficult in the African banking system, as a way to send money back home at zero cost, or even at a profit due to arbitrage, as a ways they could sell their merchandise to people in the West. And once I started talking about that, their eyes lit up. And you saw that fire that entrepreneurs get. And our volumes in South Africa and Kenya skyrocketed by several 100% after that. And the outpouring of just love and passion and like just interest was absolutely amazing. So the only thing I can say about that is that it was the African people that taught us what Bitcoin's killer app is. And they did so by hacking this peer-to-peer open-ended marketplace that's like a Swiss Army knife for money. And that's honestly the best advice I can give. If you're looking for the right narrative, go to the people on the ground, sit down, have a conversation with them, find out what their problems are, and let them at it. They can do it.
Absolutely. At Bitcoin Magazine, one of the things we're always thinking about is life after Bitcoin, right? We're not used to living into a non-inflationary world, right? This is an adjustment for a lot of people. What do we need to do to prepare this next billion people for living on Bitcoin, right? With Bitcoin as a reserve currency, what are the things we need to be teaching them? How do we need to be teaching them that? Curious on your thoughts. Bobby.
So today, I fully believe that the world will evolve where Bitcoin will become the global reserve currency. However, the question I struggle with is whether the reserve currency itself is what we're going to use to pay for groceries at the supermarket or pay for coffee at a coffee shop. So the question is, will the reserve currency just really be a reserve currency where people hold their assets, and then for daily payments there may be other stable currencies or other cryptocurrencies? So I think that's going to play out in the next decade. Bitcoin has come a long way since 2009, 12 years. And I think it's going to take another good 10 years or 12 years for us to see how it really plays out around the world. So I'm really glad to see all the innovation that's happening. Many companies are trying different things. This is an amazing conference. Look at all the companies here. Look at all the people here. Compared to my first Bitcoin conference, 9 years ago, it's changed a lot. But it's not, we haven't settled down, whether it's Lightning, whether it's stable coins. We just don't know the answer yet. Don't feel like it has to be one of the solutions right now. It could be coming in the next 5 years, 10 years.
John, what do you think?
I think Bitcoin is teaching us saving. We've lost the art of saving, right? Most of us have very little in our savings accounts because we get 0% on it, right? People used to give bonds as gifts. When I had my bar mitzvah, I got bonds from all friends and family. Nobody gives bonds anymore. It doesn't make any sense, right? I think Bitcoin is teaching us how to save again, and you can see it in the memes. Sell your chairs, buy Bitcoin. We're not buying Lambos anymore. We're selling our chairs. This is where we're going, and I'm not being facetious. I think it's important because we're teaching people that saving is important. If this economic shutdown, taught us anything, is that you need savings to survive and to be able to float through these situations, and not, piling on debt and debt and debt and just creating these massive bubbles. I think Bitcoin is a powerful teacher, and we're already being changed by it. I know I have been personally. I know our customers have been as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, just something to add. Yeah, I think Bitcoin will really succeed where people don't even necessarily know about the technology, right? It just works, right? And it's actually serving real-world utility. You're able to use it every day. And I think we have a lot of work to do still, right? What Bobby says, we're still a ways away until Bitcoin can really be used for microtransactions. And either that happens through Lightning, either that happens through side chains. It's still a ways away to really solve Bitcoin being used for microtransactions. But I think it's the analogy I like to use is we're kind of in like dial-up phase, right? Eventually we'll get to fiber optic. And so, in the dial-up phase, I mean, this stuff is complicated when you try to explain Bitcoin to people that know nothing about it. It's really technical. It's kind of the same analogy of trying to explain the internet. Like, how many people can actually give a good, simple definition of the internet? So I think, really on my side, I guess what I'm most excited about is I feel like if we are enabling more applications and incredible entrepreneurs in all different parts of the world to build on top of this Bitcoin ecosystem, and enable as much access as possible, the market will find out. The entrepreneurs are going to create the solutions, and the market is going to decide how Bitcoin is actually ultimately going to get adopted and used in everyday life. But it's amazing. It's an amazing innovation that we have this sound money and want to do everything possible to support.
Yeah, Ray, what does life after Bitcoin look like for these people who are getting onboarded?
What do you mean by life after?
Life after Bitcoin. The rules are changing, right? We now have to focus on saving. We have to focus on protecting our money. We're now in full control of an asset that is not at whim of the politicians necessarily, right?
It's a great question.
That's a lot of responsibility that we have to take not only on ourselves, but we have to expect of the organizations like you guys to do what's right on behalf of your customers, especially for something that might be custodial, right? It's a lot of responsibility.
It is, and responsibility is about fundamentals. You know, there's a lot of really smart people here. I'm a grimy entrepreneur, so I'll give you my perspective. I do customer support every single day, and a lot of the times, people's in Africa, they get hacked. Why? Because their password for their email is the same as their password for every web account they use, and 95% of African websites as databases have been hacked and leaked online. So what can you tell them? Use 2FA, right? Little things like that. Also, the ethical responsibility of us as people in charge of these exchanges to just be good people. Like, do not be putting 67,000 tokens in people's faces. Do not go down the casino road, right? This is Bitcoin 2021. And why I love this place is because everyone here understands that no matter what value these other currencies, cryptocurrencies might offer, it is in the best interest of humanity that as much momentum and energy be behind one single clearing layer as possible, and that is Bitcoin. If I had to give an example of what life would look like after Bitcoin, I would like to give a special shout out to the peoples of Nigeria. Some of the most amazing people. In fact, I wish I was Nigerian. These people on a different level. They're some of the most amazing humans I've ever met. I just came back from there a week ago. So here's the deal, guys. Nigerians get a bad rap, right? They are not scammers. Any scammers that you see in Nigeria are working for professional scam rings, most of which are outside of the country. This new generation of Nigerians are some of the most exceptional human beings that ever lived, and they are the ones that showed us the way. Everything I'm telling you right now, everything that I know, is from watching them and how they use our product. So what happened in Nigeria just a few months ago with the Nigerian central bank essentially forbidding their exchanges from using cryptocurrencies or dealing with cryptocurrency exchanges, it's some of the most amazing news you can ever imagine. And that's because the young people of Nigeria had turned to cryptocurrency and using it with such efficacy that the government had to institute draconian means to slow it down, but they can't. And here was the critical point. In January 2020, remittances, foreign currency coming into Nigeria, was at $2.5 billion. By September of 2020, that had fallen to $55 million. A 98.7% decrease in the amount of foreign money coming in, but it was a 98.7% increase in Bitcoin being used as remittances. That scared them, right? But it shows you the power of a motivated, youthful population to actually move forward. Paxful has 1.5 million users in Nigeria. We've done $1.5 billion of volume there. And we're starting 2 offices there right now, incubation educational centers. Why? Because going there again made me realize that our work there has only just begun. And Nigeria is the lion of Africa. It is absolutely a harbinger of things to come. If you really want to know what this will look like, come to Nigeria. You'll be my personal guest.
Awesome. We're here at the end. I've got one last question. I'm going to make this the easiest question that you'll face this entire great week here in Miami. Are the billions ready for Bitcoin?
Yes.
Yes.
Ray.
They've been wondering where we've been at.
There we go. Ivan.
Yes, but we need to make it easier.
Okay, everybody else, yes?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you guys very much.